King Kong. And another one.
Another one.
And a baby one.
Another one.
Godzilla. And another one.
Another one.
And we even got a big-ass Mothman. This movie is absolutely bananas.
I think that there is something seriously wrong with you.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Film Archives, where I recap movies for you. That way I can answer the question, was it worth watching? I upload new videos every week, so if you enjoy movie recaps, please consider subscribing. But with that out of the way, let's just get into the movie. Kong, Godzilla, The New Empire.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
We see King Kong running from some sort of demon raptors of sorts, and right away you can see that the CGI in this movie goes hard, goes super hard. Yeah, it goes pretty hard. We see that King Kong is pretty smart, and he's able to build traps. He slowly outruns these demon raptors, and they eventually fall victim to the traps that he had already set up prior to this, because it is his territory after all. It's pretty cool. We see him eat one of the demon raptors, and it's gnarly, but he manages to chip a tooth, which doesn't seem very fun. The movie states that humans used to believe that we were basically the doms and everything else was the subs, and that we were basically, top of the food chain, and that life only existed on the surface of the planet. We then see a newscast that explains that they've actually discovered Hollow Earth, which is just absolutely wild. And basically Hollow Earth is where King Kong lives, and he's just kind of ultra badass. He's living down there, and he's the last of his clan. It's pretty epic stuff. We then see Godzilla is actually on the surface of the planet, and King Kong is below. So one of them's living up here, one of them's living down there. But we got Godzilla on the surface of the planet, and we got King Kong in the Hollow Earth. So, they stay out of each other's way because they've previously fought, and they don't get along. They don't get along at all.
We don't get along. We don't get along.
We see that humanity is lucky that Godzilla is there because there are huge kaiju type of monsters, and they're referenced as titans in this movie, but Godzilla basically fights them and kind of keeps humanity safe. So he's kind of like our big dinosaur protector. It's very cool stuff. I'm not even gonna lie. Don't question it. It's badass. It's freaking badass. We see that Godzilla has taken up residence in the Colosseum of Rome. He just basically commandeered the Colosseum and is sleeping in there. It's very cute, to be honest. He's basically a lizard badass, and he does what he wants, We see that there is a group named Monarch, and they monitor all of the Titans, including King Kong and Godzilla. We are then shown that there is a sinkhole that is inside of the Hollow Earth where King Kong happens to be chilling, and it's not good. This will come into play later. We're then introduced to one of the main characters of the movie, whose name is Dr. Eileen Andrews. And we see that she has adopted the last surviving member of the Iwi tribe, which is the tribe that lived on Skull Island, where Kong is from. And this girl's name is Gia. She doesn't speak, but they do sign language throughout the movie, so that's pretty cool to see. We then see that the sinkhole has also sent out some sort of signal to the Earth, and this causes Godzilla to get super upset, as well as giving Gia, hallucinations and extremely vivid visions. Vivid visions! It's pretty crazy stuff, actually. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. It's actually crazy. We then see Dr. Eileen Andrews go to see one of her colleagues, whose name is Bernie Hayes. He's a conspiracy theorist who runs a podcast and basically tries to deliver the truth to the people. So it's very heroic stuff. Bernie is played by one of the best actors of all time, Brian Tyree Henry, and you may recognize him from Bullet Train. I did a video on that. Check it out. Shameless plug. Link to that video in the description. He's an amazing actor. He's very funny and just very talented, very talented. He alone could make this movie enjoyable, but not gonna lie, so far this movie is really good. We then learn that Gia, the last surviving member of the Iwi tribe, can actually communicate with King Kong through sign language because she is from his homeland on Skull Island. So there's that, and yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. Dr. Eileen Andrews explains to Bernie that she is now the head of the Monarch Kong research. She invites Bernie to the Hollow Earth. That way they can follow the signal that was sent out from the sinkhole that opened up by King Kong. So that's pretty cool. Their convo is cut short, and we suddenly see Godzilla on the move, and we also see that King Kong emerges from the sinkhole/portal type situation from the Hollow Earth, and he appears on the shore nearby. He appears hurt, so the Monarch group goes to help him, and this is when we're introduced to a character named Trapper, who's basically kind of like a veterinarian for these titans, mainly King Kong. They approach King Kong and they sedate him, and Trapper, this guy's actually awesome. Every time he's in the movie, they have some really cool 80s music playing, so you get like these really cool Stranger Things vibes. But yeah, he goes to go help King Kong, and he removes the cracked tooth and replaces it with like a metal one. So King Kong kind of be like G'd up, you know what I mean? He's like, "Sup, I'm from Bompton." It's so sick, bro. It's so sick. We then see Bernie Hayes, the conspiracy theorist, explain that every time these signals appear, that they follow some sort of Titan event. So it's not just a help signal or a distress signal. It's pretty much signaling something big, something Titan related to either Godzilla or King Kong, or maybe one of the many other Titans in this movie. Yes, there are more than one Titan. Godzilla then arrives in France because he just goes wherever he wants to go. And we see him attack a nuclear power plant, and he begins to absorb the radiation. We see the French army attempt to stop him, but it doesn't matter because Godzilla is basically unstoppable. So he winds up absorbing all the radiation. And he manages to get his lightning infusion, which is pretty good because it increases his attack damage and it scales with dexterity. So he's very clearly preparing for some sort of PvP battle. Yeah, don't tell anyone you leveled up Dex. We then see the group of Bernie and Dr. Eileen Andrews, accompanied by her daughter Gia, decide to go investigate one of the Monarch outposts that they have inside the Hollow Earth, where they believe that the signal has originated from. When they arrive, we see that the outpost is already like completely wiped out, and something has attacked them super brutally, and we don't know what it is, but it's definitely not good. Definitely not good. We then see King Kong grab what appears to be a battle axe. Don't question this, because this is just badass, and you don't need to question it. But yeah, he has a hatchet, battle axe. It's very sick. Very cool. Don't question it. Just know that it's awesome. And as King Kong is grabbing this axe, we see another sinkhole open, where he discovers sort of like an uncharted realm of sorts. He discovers that there's actually a surviving tribe of his species, the great apes, that has survived. So he's not the sole survivor of his clan after all. We see a bunch of apes and they all attack him, and we also are introduced to a juvenile little guy, and he's kind of the mini Kong. He's very cute. I don't remember them ever stating his name, but when I looked it up, his name is Suko. As Kong discovers these apes, they have a brief little fight, and, they have like an initial confrontation. Kong kind of just owns them all, and, he eventually kind of convinces the little one to take him back to his home. We then see that Godzilla has made it to the ocean, and he is on his way to the Arctic. We suspect that he is going to confront a Titan by the name of Tiamat. Tiamat has their territory in the Arctic, which lies directly underneath some electromagnetic solar charged winds. So Godzilla is going there to kind of supercharge and get more lightning infusion. It's kind of crazy. Quick side note, I think that the name Tiamat is pretty cool because it reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons. If you know, you know. We then go back to the group that has followed the signal, and we see that the conspiracy theorist Bernie Hayes, he's recording everything on his camera, and it's honestly very funny.
Ancient alien astronauts.
They wind up coming across an old temple, which belongs to the Iwi tribe, which is very cool because up until this point, we thought that Gia, the girl that Dr. Eileen Andrews adopted, was the last of her kind, but it turns out that there's actually more of her tribe, so that's very cool. We then see King Kong and the Mini Kong continue their journey back to the tribe's home. They begin to have some sort of bond. They become friends eventually, which is pretty dope, not gonna lie. We then see that Godzilla has made it inside Tiamat's lair, and he has destroyed Tiamat. He makes short work of that fucker, dude. It's crazy. So that way he can absorb all of the, solar energy that has collected underneath the ice. We then go back to Dr. Eileen and Bernie's group, and we see that they have made it into, like a subterranean section of the temple, and it houses a bunch of the surviving Iwi tribes. So there's a bunch of them that are still alive, and they communicate telepathically. They basically protect the portals from Hollow Earth to the surface Earth, and so there's that. The tribe immediately recognizes Gia as one of their own, and they communicate telepathically, and the tribe finds out that the group means them no harm. We then find out that the signal that was sent out earlier in the movie was actually sent from this tribe using some big old crystals, sort of the Dark Crystal vibe. Basically, the signal was meant for Godzilla, so that way he could come to the Hollow Earth and help the Iwi tribe, because they're in big trouble. Dr. Eileen Andrews finds some hieroglyphs, and it's revealed through these hieroglyphs that the Hollow Earth and the regular Earth used to live in harmony, and that all of the Titans are basically the guardians of nature, and that the great apes were the guardians of humanity. That is until one ape decided to go rogue, and he basically led a war against Godzilla and wanted to go to the surface, and he wanted to take over more territory. Eventually, Godzilla beat the apes back, and he locked them in the Hollow Earth, which is where they remain to this day. We learn that the leader of this ape group is named Skar King, which is pretty cool. Skar King is the same leader of the little Mini Kong's tribe, so we'll see him very soon. We then go back to King Kong and the little Mini Kong, Zuko, and they arrive at the tribe's home, and we see that the Skar King basically has enslaved all of these apes and is, being kind of a ruthless asshole. It's not good. King Kong attempts to help some of these guys, so he's pretty much the hero in the story, and he's decided that he's either going to die the hero or he's going to live long enough to see himself become the villain. So a lot of yelling and roaring in this scene, and it is pretty cool. But we then see the Skar King come out, and he has like a spinal cord which has been fashioned into a whip. And at the tip of it, he has a crystal. The hieroglyphs also reveal that the Skar King has captured the Ice Titan by the name of Shimo. So it's basically the Ice Titan version of Godzilla, and that this Titan actually caused the Ice Age on the surface of the planet many years ago. So the Skar King confronts King Kong, and they have a brief little fight, and they're kind of at a standstill, and the odds are pretty even until Skar King uses the crystal on his whip to summon Shimo, who comes out and attacks King Kong and uses his ice breath on him. We then see King Kong block it with his battle axe. Don't question this. This is just awesome. So it's freaking awesome. As he's blocking Shimo's ice breath, it kind of freezes over his hand and gives him frostbite. So it's brutal. The Mini Kong Zuko comes to the aid of King Kong, and they manage to escape. Dr. Eileen further interprets the hieroglyphs, which reveal an Iwi prophecy that states that the last survivor from Skull Island will actually summon Mothra and save the world. We then see King Kong running from the tribe, and he's making his escape, and there are quite a few apes chasing him. They manage to escape, utilizing King Kong's traps from earlier, and we also see that the Mini Kong utilizes Kong's traps, and they basically kill all of the apes that were chasing them. However, one of the apes manages to survive, which is not good. Sensing Jia, King Kong arrives at the temple. He barely managed to survive the battle, and he has severe frostbite to his hand, but luckily Trapper is there, and they manage to, kind of fit him with a prototype exoskeleton hand that they made for King Kong in order to help further battle the Titans and help protect humanity. So it's pretty cool. Don't question this. This is awesome. This is awesome. Unbeknownst to the group, we see that the surviving ape has followed King Kong, who then goes to inform the Skar King. Skar King is then just straight riding. He's on top of Shimo, the Ice Titan, and he's got like a full war band on the war path, dude. Like, this scene goes hard.
I know you ain't really acting hard with me.
We finally see that Godzilla has finished absorbing all of the solar energy from Tiamat's lair, and he is like supercharged. He basically turns purple from all the power. It's pretty cool. Don't question this, guys. It's badass. It's badass. We then see King Kong appear in Cairo, calling out to Godzilla, hoping that he can get Godzilla back to the Hollow Earth to help him battle the Skar King and the Ice Titan. Despite King Kong's attempts to communicate, Godzilla does not care, and he immediately attacks King Kong. They have a pretty sick fight here on top of the pyramids, and they're destroying things. And it's just pure madness. We then see that Jia, the young adopted girl, has actually managed to successfully awaken Mothra, which is super sick. I'm not even going to lie. So Godzilla is about to actually finish King Kong, and right as he's about to do this, Mothra appears from Hollow Earth and calls out to Godzilla and King Kong and basically makes cool Pokemon sounds and stuff, and he convinces both of them that they need to go to Hollow Earth and fight Skar King and Shimo, the Ice Titan. So it's full-on war, dude. It's super sick. Super sick. We then see Godzilla, King Kong, and Mothra return to the Hollow Earth and to the underground Iwi temple, and we see that they've engaged Skar King and the Ice Titan Shimo in a fierce battle. It's absolutely madness. We see that the little Kong is basically helping. We see Mothra, you know, spitting like webs and all kinds of like coming jutsus on the apes who are trying to escape through the portals to the surface world. Eventually, the Skar King and Shimo, the Ice Titan, do manage to use the portal, and they escape onto the surface of the earth, which basically forces Godzilla and King Kong to chase them. They appear in Rio de Janeiro, which is just so beautiful. Skar King then, using the crystal that controls Shimo, you know, the Ice Godzilla Titan, he uses it to force Shimo to like shoot a bunch of ice into the atmosphere, and it's slowly beginning like the second ice age. It's really bad. We have like a crazy fight scene here. We get some really cool shots, and again, the CGI goes hard, bro, like so sick. They all kind of fight to like a standstill, you know, they're all fighting each other. Godzilla's fighting Shimo, the Skar King is fighting King Kong, you know, King Kong's using his like exoskeleton hand, and you know, they all kind of are at a standstill. Suddenly we then see the mini Kong, Zuko, arrive with King Kong's battle axe from earlier, which is just so awesome. Don't question this, guys. It's so sick. It's so sick. He then uses this axe to destroy the crystal that was controlling Shimo, which immediately turns the tides of battle. We see that Shimo, the Ice Titan, suddenly is broken free of the crystal's spell, and he changes sides. He immediately shoots the Skar King for keeping him, you know, trapped for many years, and he freezes him. We then see King Kong grab his frozen body and shatter him into a million pieces. And I'm not gonna lie, even though this is CGI, this is very brutal stuff, guys. Very brutal stuff.
Kobe!
We then see Godzilla shoot a bunch of lightning into the sky, which kind of like counteracts all the ice that Shimo had shot into the atmosphere. And that's pretty cool. And after that, Godzilla goes back to the Coliseum to take a little nap. It's very cute. It's very cute. We see Mothra use like her webs to basically create barriers over the portals. Gia, the adopted girl, decides to stay with Dr. Eileen Andrews instead of returning to her tribe, which is a very heartfelt moment. It's really sweet. We then see King Kong and the little baby Kong returning to the Hollow Earth alongside Shimo, the Ice Titan. They return to the tribe from earlier, and it's pretty sick because King Kong kind of becomes their leader, and they all get along. You know, we see King Kong petting Shimo like he's like a cute dog, which was kind of cute because I thought the same thing when you see Godzilla like curl up into a little ball in the Coliseum and go to sleep. Just looks like a little dog. It's very cute. And then the movie ends, and that's it. I'm not gonna lie, this movie was baller. Some of the stuff you kind of have to piece together if you haven't seen the previous movies, which wasn't necessarily hard, but you know, you kind of got to pay attention. So was this movie worth watching? I would say yes, especially if you're a fan of King Kong or Godzilla. You get like the original OG Godzilla yells, and you get some pretty sick King Kong screams. I think it paid a really good respect and homage to King Kong and Godzilla both. But all right, that will do it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, please leave it a like. I would really appreciate it, and consider subscribing if you'd like to help support the channel. I do upload new videos every week. But with that out of the way, I will catch you in the next video. Peace! Yo, I'm motherfucking King Kong, and I'm pretty sure that he's based on Donkey Kong. Nah, it's the other way around, bruh, cause Donkey Kong is based on King Kong. He came way before that, yeah.
Damn, son, where'd